Hello and welcome to the special edition of Christmas MuVies Spotlight. I'm your host, Dawn Mack, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, and I'm not going to say co-host Pam. I'm just going to say my friend and colleague, Pam. Hey, Pam, how are you?
I'm still your co-host, so it's still okay to say it.
Now, folks, if you heard a previous interview that we aired recently, then Pam was picking at me, as we always are bantering back and forth about the whole me always coming out and introducing her as my co-host, which we are. We are the co-hosting duo of Christmas MuVies Spotlight. So I thought I'd kind of get her back. So if you follow along and you know what this out. And if you're a first-time listener, we apologize for the craziness, but it's just who we are, folks. It's just who we are. Well, speaking of, how are you, Pam?
I'm doing well, thank you. And how about yourself?
Well, I'm doing good. I mean, how can you not be doing good? It's the holiday season. We've got all these great movies that we're watching, and, you know, I've been movie marathoning, and I'm sure you're movie marathoning and DVRing, and I wish I had a DVR. Maybe that could be my Christmas gift from you, by the way.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Okay, I'll be looking for it. Just let me know when you're shipping it.
Sure.
Oh. Well,
it's the checks in the mail, as they say.
Hey, the checks in the mail. I'll be looking for that. I'm not holding my breath, by the way. So today, Pam and I are so excited to bring you our special interview with the dashingly handsome and incredibly talented Peter-porte.
Yeah. Mhm. Another one I like to look at on my TV screen.
You know, when he's on screen, he's so distinguished in the way he speaks, and he's such a phenomenal actor anyway. But this was such a fun interview. I so enjoyed. In fact, he was one of our first guest interviews that we did for this season, and so it was just fun and exciting, and to be able to talk to him about his career, which you'll get to hear all about it here shortly.
Yeah, this is one we had to keep under wraps a really long time.
Like I think back late summer, you know, it wasn't even fall, and we were talking about Christmas movies. So yeah, but we've had this under wraps for a good while.
Definitely. And be sure to catch Peter as he stars in the Lifetime original movie Christmas Harmony, which premieres Saturday, November 24th at 10 Eastern, 9 Central.
And we are so excited right now to bring you this great interview with Peter-porte.
Enjoy the show.
And thanks for having me on your show.
You're very welcome. We're so pleased that you are taking the time to speak with us. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. And I wanted to know when you knew you wanted to be an actor. Was it something that you wanted to do from a young age, or did that come later?
You know, I think it was from a pretty young age. We watched a lot of movies growing up, and I grew up about an hour outside of Manhattan, so we went to the city quite a bit with my mom and dad to visit my grandmother who lived there, and I would beg them to go take me to see shows. So I fell in love pretty quickly, but to be honest, the reason I think I caught the bug was in third grade. My mother is from Poland and my dad is from Italy, and it's pretty customary to dress up your kids in this traditional Polish garb. So we had these, the kids look like little dolls, like in very traditional Polish costumes. And we had them made for us when we were really little kids. And I remember in third grade, I brought my costume in, and they decided they were going to do a play with all of the students. And the play was about Christopher Columbus. And so she looked at me, she looked at the costume, she saw it fit, she goes, okay, well, we've got a Christopher Columbus. And that was my first leading role in a show because I fit the part. And ever since then, I think that was the first time that I was on stage, and I fell in love with it that moment.
And that could have went either way. You know, when you're that young, you're either going to love it or you're going to be terrified, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
It's a good
thing
that
especially
didn't
when
happen.
it isn't your choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I bet it was adorable, though.
I wish I had recording. I mean, if that happened today, it would be everywhere. You'd be on your phone, but I can't imagine that we even have that recorded anywhere. I'm very curious to see my expression.
Exactly. And who wouldn't want to see a young peter-porte do something like that? I mean, all the fans out there that you have, I mean, they would just be drooling.
Oh, I don't know. I was a pretty weird-looking kid, but thank you. I'm flattered.
Oh.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, as I mentioned, you do have a lot of fans, and they're worldwide, many from different things that you've done, different projects, and including Hallmark and The Young and the Restless. And I have to say that I loved your character on Young and the Restless, and was really bummed out when you were killed off, although it did make for a good story.
Me too.
I know, right? I mean, it seemed like you were just getting started on there.
I felt that way too. I think that the show was going through a lot of changes internally, and I was one of the last people in, so it looked like I was one of the first people out, which is fair because, when it comes to seniority, those people they should have some more job protection. But I remember my producer, Tony, took me aside, and within the set or within the cast, that you are getting either a talking to or some really bad news if he takes you to a certain bench on a certain part of fake park on the set. And I was like, uh-oh. And and it was that morning, I'm like, oh, man, what do I do now? And I'd been on the show for about a year and some change at this point, and he said, we hate to have to do this, but we're going to have to end your character. And but the good thing is that we're going to give you the best send-off you could ever ask for. And suddenly my character went from, a pretty straightforward paper pusher working for the character Phyllis to suddenly stealing babies, threatening Phyllis, killing people, killing girlfriends, holding Eden hostage, fighting with his dad, shooting. It was suddenly in the last 3 months I had so much to do, and for that I'm very grateful. It was a great send-off.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, you couldn't ask for better at that point in time in what you were going through.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from being on a soap that you took with you to other projects?
Soap operas are one of the hardest genres, I think, in this town. Just the turnaround is unbelievable. Working on movies, I've done a couple, as you know, Hallmark movies, and those work really fast too. But I think that soaps actually move even quicker. So it was a kind of a boot camp for me in preparation for doing any other film or TV. For example, there's about 42 minutes of programming every 5 days a week, right? They only shoot 4 days, so you're filming an entire day's worth of material plus a quarter of another day's worth in just a single day. And sometimes they block shoot, which means that they don't shoot it in sequential order of what you see on television. Sometimes they'll take all the scenes from your next 2 weeks and just throw them all at you, and you have to kind of figure out emotionally where you might be at each given point in time. And so for a procedural, if you're looking to an NCIS or a CSI or even these bigger TV shows, Game of Thrones, Big Little Lies, they take like 8 days, if not more. Some take 2 weeks. I know an episode of The Crown that took 6 weeks to film.
Oh my gosh.
So just imagine like the luxury of having that much time to create a character, to get the scene so perfectly right. Meanwhile, here we are on The Young and the Restless, that same amount of material in a day. So it definitely taught me how to be... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say it just taught me to be, very, very specific and to take my own direction and to be incredibly prepared because you get one try. It's a miracle that I think any outstanding performances come from Silk because the odds are so stacked against you.
Yeah, I was going to say
very
probably
true.
in one take to be able to cover that much material in a single day, and that much ground as well for filming. That's incredible. That really tests an actor's character and strength of character in terms of the endurance, on the set.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, yeah.
Wow. Well, you did good. I have to tell you that, and we were impressed. And
Thanks. I had a lot of fun.
Thanks. As major soap fans, we love to follow our favorites no matter where they go. So that's how we know that, you're on Hallmark or on CSI or any of the other shows we, tend to watch, and even some that we don't watch. So we will go out of our way to watch a certain episode if one of our fan favorites are on there.
Thank you. That's amazing. I didn't realize that there was such loyalty. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And yes, it's a huge loyal fan base. So when you receive a script, what do you look for in deciding whether or not you want to be a part of that project?
Well, what I usually do when I receive a script is I download it, and then in the search bar, I type in my character's name. And then I go to the last page that my character is in, and I see what's he doing, and if he has a very meaningful part to play within the storytelling of that film or part on TV. This is when I get an offer. In most auditions, I do a similar thing, but I really enjoy acting. If that was not obvious, I really enjoy doing it. So if I have an opportunity to audition, if I have an opportunity to go in and meet with a casting director or a director or a producer that I have never met with before, or one that I have, and I want to show them, even if the part isn't right for me, but to show them that perhaps I can do something different, or I can bring this to the table, then I'll go in. If it's a part that I'm offered, which doesn't happen every day, that would be it's a wonderful opportunity. Then I'll take a look at the part, and I'll use the technique that I explained just moments ago about going to the end, seeing how he is affecting the overall story, how important he is, and if he's just trivial or I don't know. Sometimes characters are just there to push things along. Then, you look at the paycheck, and if it's a lot of money, you do it. And if not, if you don't have to worry about that, then you might pass on it and wait for the next job. That's how I usually choose roles. If they're interesting, yes, absolutely. And if they're characters that I've never played before, because, in this town, it's very easy to start getting pigeonholed into certain characters. And
right.
If you have an opportunity, it does not come every day to play a very different, interesting to you character. I say absolutely take it.
That's a very interesting way to do that. Look at me and Dawn both.
Yeah, because you hear of all different kinds of ways, but to me that kind of, if you go to the last page and you're just kind of absorbing what that last page of script might read, it doesn't kind of give you the fill in the blanks per se, but it kind of does bring it full circle so that you can gain an idea of what can I do with this that could be out of the box thinking, so to speak.
And if your character is not being featured in the end, then you keep on moving backwards in the script, and slowly but surely you'll recognize how important you are to this storytelling. And in some cases, it's not very important at all, and that will definitely it will inform your decision in whether or not to take a part.
Oh, yeah. Well, having played many different types of roles, what would you consider to be your favorite type of role to play?
That's a good question. I really enjoy doing Hallmark movies because they're just really fun. They're really fun. They're really sweet. They're telling a love story. They're uplifting. To be honest, the three that I've done, the third one I got to do was there was even more. Every time I go back to Hallmark, I find that those scripts are having more and more bite to them. You know, they're a little bit more juicy. There's a little bit more, because you know it's fun to play a prince and to be like a very sweet, perfect, warm, all you know what the female lead is going to want, but when they throw in little shades of something different or some quirk or some, you know, then that's always a lot of fun to play when I'm working with Hallmark. Otherwise, I love doing comedies, and for a couple of years I was recurring 3 years, I think, on a show called Baby Daddy, and I got to work with an amazing cast, and it was sitcom, which moves very quickly as well, but it's this awesome blend of live performance while still on television, because, you know, we're doing it in front of a live studio audience, and I really love theater. So that character was a lot of fun to me too, because he was very flawed. He was on the outside seemingly someone who had all of their ducks in a row and was handsome and was wealthy, but inside he was just a neurotic, nervous, narcissist wreck, and yet still lovable somehow to my counterpart Bonnie, played by Melissa Peterman. So that was probably one of my favorite parts that I ever played. Yeah.
Oh wow! Well, on the note of Hallmark, we love seeing you in Hallmark movies. I mean, Hallmark in general is just a great network. But yeah, you're right. They've really gotten very creative in how they're, you know, adding these nuances to the scripts now, the writing, and it's, you know, and it's. I think that's why so many people just are in love with Hallmark, you know. But seeing you on screen and playing in those movies, it adds something. So you do a great job, no matter what you're doing. But on that note, well, you're very welcome. What do you find challenges you the most when you are embarking on a new role, and what, if any, types of preparation do you have to do for the role?
Well, let's talk about Hallmark specifically. I think that one of the biggest challenges I have with Hallmark is that we typically have about 3 weeks to shoot a movie, and everything we do the opposite of what you would instinctually think we should be doing. So, for instance, if we're shooting a Christmas movie, we're shooting it in August. So you're dealing with extreme heat, but we're covering everything in fake snow. You're wearing sweaters and jackets, and it's 90 degrees outside. Same happens this last movie that I did with them. That was supposed to all take place in spring, and it was Vancouver in January, and it was...
Oh, my gosh.
Freezing.
Oh, we lost him.
Hello, sorry about that. I lost the call.
That's all right. Thank you. I don't know if it was your end or our end, so we're good.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I think I was just describing the challenges with Hallmark, shooting a Hallmark movie.
Right.
The other major challenge, besides like just the conditional or situational challenge, is that they often front load those 3 weeks with all of the big dramatic scene work. So in most cases, you're shooting the climax of the movie first, because it is probably dealing with a big ball or a big reunion or a wedding or whatever it may be, but they want to make sure that they have these big challenging scenes over, because they usually entail huge sets and lots of extras, but that forces you to create chemistry with your scene partner on the first day, having usually never met the person before. So that's kind of hard. Besides, the 14, 15-hour days, and then you go home that evening, and then you have to learn all of the sides or your lines for the next scene. But it's that initial week where you have to create a familiarity and a love and a comfort level and a intimacy level with your co-star, having never ever met them before, on a big time crunch. That's probably one of the biggest challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, undoubtedly, because it's like the script and the movie is all out of order when you're filming it, and there's no continuity of flow. So I can imagine that would be incredibly difficult to just roll into into character, in and out of character, depending upon what scene you had to shoot on a given day. So that, that's a kind of a behind the scenes tidbit that as viewers they don't know this, and and which makes as actors it makes you just all the more talented, because that takes great skill and talent to be able to do that on the fly in a matter of 3 weeks. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm watching it with my mom or something, I'll point it out to her and I'll be like, so this moment right here, this scene we shot first. This is the first time that we ever met each other. And, she has a hard time believing it. But then I was also listening to an interview about, did you guys see the movie Lion by any chance?
I don't think so. Have you, Pam?
No.
The Lion? No.
The Lion.
It's called Lion. It came out last year. It's a really brilliant movie, but they talk about how the director, the way that they shot it, the whole movie's about a kid that went missing, and then he was adopted by an American or Australian, I'm not sure, family. And after all these trials and tribulations in this storytelling, he is reunited with his mother. And they ended up shooting the final scene where he meets his mother first, and that is the first time that these two actors had ever seen each other. And it's so beautiful, but just to think about that while you're watching the film is such a head trip. To think their mother and son, but they've never seen each other before, and this is the first day of them even in production. So yeah, it's a pretty common thing in the film industry, but it's still kind of a wild notion to wrap your head around. And every time I get a new film, I try to make a point now to reach out and just, no, let's go to coffee, let's go to breakfast before we do this, just so that we understand what your name is, what's your favorite color.
Right.
Let's fall in love.
Oh my gosh. And I can see where that could possibly be the most challenging thing you could possibly endure as an actor. And speaking of movies, we understand, rumor on the street at least, is that you are filming a Christmas movie. Is that true?
Yes, we are in post-production right now. It's called Christmas Harmony, and it was created and directed by Nenea Miata, and it stars a friend of mine, Kelly Jackal, and it's the story about Kelly plays Harmony, and she is a very talented young songwriter, and I play her less than perfect boyfriend who doesn't treat her very well and is a pop star. And Chandra Wilson actually plays my agent, and she sees right through me. And it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but the real artistry behind all of my music is that Kelly, or rather Harmony, is writing it. And as soon as I get picked up and sign this big contract and go on tour, I end up breaking up with her. And she's devastated and decides to go home for Christmas. And she goes home to Miracle, Colorado. And we actually shot it in Crested Butte, which I don't know if you've ever been to. It was my first time, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful town out in Colorado. And she meets a high school sweetheart who is played by Adam Mayfield, the character of Luke, and Shirley is played by Sally Struthers, who is the town busybody, and it's a really cute show. And I come at one point and try to win her back, and drama ensues. I don't want to give away too much, but it's a really cute show, and it's the first movie musical I've ever been a part of. And singing in it, it's an original score. I think there are 6 songs, and Nenea, who directed and created it, also wrote the music, and it's great music. It's really, really great music. And it's all performed throughout the movie.
Oh, and I love movie musicals anyway. I mean, I've always, from the Sound of Music on, I mean, I've always enjoyed movies of that nature when they weave in.
Oh, then I think you'll enjoy this.
I just to hear you describe the plot of it, it just sounds amazing. And when you pair that kind of concept movie with Christmas, it doesn't get any better than that. So, and it's going to be interesting seeing you because like in for example, some of the Hallmark movies you start in, you've always played the main love interest. It's going to be interesting to see you play this role too.
It was very fun. I haven't gotten to play
character.
like the. Totally, yes. I haven't been able to play like a bad guy anytime lately. Not since The Young and the Restless, not since Ricky. And this character is just, he's the worst. He's such a loser. He's just so selfish and so Hollywoody. And I'm sure, and Kelly's character, Harmony, is so sweet. He does love her. He just, he has a hard time not thinking about himself first, and she deserves a lot more than that. But, you'll see what happens.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah,
we can't wait.
I have no doubt we'll be, giving you dirty looks at the TV screen while it's going on, and then at the end rooting for you guys. That's just how these movies work out, and that's what we love about them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I hope you guys do watch it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We don't miss not one of them, let me tell you. So we will definitely be watching, and we'll be tweeting about it, and we'll be posting it on Facebook and posting it on Instagram and everywhere we can put it. We love those movies, and that's why we do the show. Now, if you were to write a Hallmark movie, what would it be about, and who would you have star in it?
Good question. What would it be about? Well, first of all, I would probably set it somewhere amazing. I'd probably set it in Italy or in Switzerland or somewhere that might not necessarily be in our budget, but let's not talk about a budget. Let's say we have an amazing budget and we've got endless amounts of money. I would set it somewhere that we would that everyone in the cast would love to go. So let's pick Italy. And then I would love to do a unusual pairing, something like, and now that they have the Mystery Channel on Hallmark, I think that maybe you could work in there where there's some kind of mystery, some kind of a caper, some kind of a chase, where almost like a Dan Brown novel. Imagine Hallmark doing like the Da Vinci Code, all set throughout Italy. Wouldn't that be fun?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it would be. And who would I cast with it?
That. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That would be great. Allie Lieber, who I was in A Gift to Remember with last year, has become a really dear friend of mine, and I would love to do a movie with her. And I've got a couple other girlfriends out here in Los Angeles that are amazing actresses, Chelsea Kane, Kim Atula. They would all be amazing co-stars. Mm-hmm. Do you know Kim? Kim from Bold and the Beautiful?
Yes, Bold and the Beautiful, yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's got to do one of those Hallmark movies. I got to pitch that somehow. She would be fun to work with up there.
I think you should pitch that script, too. You got to pitch that script,
yeah,
too.
I should. I think that's a pretty good idea.
If you need us to, if you're going to pitch her to Hallmark, we will pitch you that you need to co-star with her in the movie, whatever that movie they do.
Okay, great.
Any time of the year.
So
yeah,
you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Right,
sounds
exactly.
Good.
We'll do it. We'll work together to make it happen. Hallmark, are you listening?
Are you listening? Thank you. That would be great.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome. Now, you kind of answered my last question that I wanted to ask you, but I'll go ahead and say it anyhow, and we'll see what you come up with. Which 3 words would you use to describe working for Hallmark, or just to describe Hallmark in general?
Oh, good. Okay, let's see. Which 3 words? Well, I mean, obviously the first one has to be love because it's not a Hallmark title if it doesn't have love in it. So love is number 1. Canada would be number 2 because we film everything up in Canada, and I've fallen so in love with visiting Canada because of Hallmark. And number 3 would probably be family because it is. They've done such an amazing job at not only making television material that you can watch as a family, that you feel like family, that you come home to, and for many, many people nurtures like a family, but also working for them. There's a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of interconnectedness within the Hallmark network, and they take very good care of you. Once you're inside it, they really do even refer to it as the Hallmark family, and they've been very generous and very kind to all of their performers. So they're it's a pleasure to work for them. So I would say family. Yeah, love, Canada, and family.
And don't forget family TV viewing too, because anybody from your family, or my family, and no matter the age, can watch these things. Watch these
That's
movies.
right. Yeah.
So, and you don't get a lot of that these days.
No, it's hard to find that. And that's not to say that other programming isn't amazing. I think that we're living in a time with incredible television programming. There's so many great shows, but if you want to watch something that really speaks to an entire family, is appropriate for all ages, and is going to just make you feel good, then there are very few programs that fall into that category. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Well, we have got one more question for you, and we always like to close our interviews with this, and it's a lightning round, a 5-question lightning round. And I'm going to ask you 5 simple questions. They're all Christmas related because this is a Christmas show. And you just answer the first thing that comes to your mind. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Shoot.
Okay. First, your favorite Christmas tradition?
Oh, going to midnight mass.
Favorite Christmas song?
Oh, Holy Night.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, the Drew Barrymore Babes in Toyland.
Hot toddy or hot chocolate?
Hot toddy.
White lights or colored lights?
Warm white lights.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That's the 5-question lightning round. Thank you so much.
That's great. Did I pass?
You passed.
Okay, good.
You passed. That was fun.
And really, there's no wrong answer, so.
That's
right.
true.
Oh, good.
No wrong answer.
Well, Peter, we want to thank you so very, very much for taking the time out to join us tonight, and we look forward to watching you in Christmas Harmony as well as any other of your projects that come up, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me on the show, and I do hope you watch it and you enjoy it. And, I'd love to come back. Let me know.
Sure.
Most definitely.
Well,
we will give you a ringy-dingy.
All righty. Sounds good. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, don't leave us yet. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Christmas Movies. That's XMASMUVIES. And also like our Facebook page at Christmas MuVies Spotlight. Don't forget, that's spelled MUVIES. And follow us on Instagram at Christmas MuVies Spotlight.
And don't forget to check out our website, ChristmasMoviesSpotlight.com. That's movies with MUVIES, ChristmasMoviesSpotlight.com.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.